And welcome back to Fang. Now, if you're living under a rock and don't know what happened, March Madness just ended. Well, ended Monday, April 6th. So I'm a little bit late on this video, but that's because I have school and I can't record all the time I had to find time to record. So this may have come a little bit later, but still, March Madness finished and we're gonna talk about it. So the big thing, obviously, Michigan won against UConn. They made it to the final. They won 69-63. I just want to say for the record, I did have Michigan going to the final. The only thing is that I had St. John's winning. Now that was a big oopsie on my part because they lost on the round of Sweet 16 against Duke by 5 points. It was a good game. There was a couple of good games across the board. I'll show my bracket, uh, how it ended up at the end. It didn't end good. Uh, for some reason, I just keep getting worse and worse. I think it was just luck, and I think next year what I have to do is don't don't think, just do them because when I won, I think it was 2 3 years ago. I didn't know I was going out. It was like my first year actually watching basketball, and as far as I know, this year I watched at least all the Gonzaga games and most of the other games. At least I watched all or almost all. Like I missed like 2 3 of March Madness, but there were some upsets and some games that I'm like, what the fuck is going on, and how the fuck did they win? So let's start with some brackets. I mean, some upsets that happened that didn't seem like they would happen, but they did. Like, let's see, from the East, that first game of Duke versus Siena was good. Almost upset Duke the first round, but it didn't. Ohio State and TCU, for some reason, it was a good game, but and Ohio State lost. I know that was that's a tough one, but it didn't hurt me that much. Then Northern Iowa, I knew they were gonna lose. Who else? Go up to that was good. South Florida. Now I might have remembered wrong, and South Florida didn't do as good as I expected. I thought they were gonna upset. Oh well, didn't. Surprising, to be honest. I was watching that game and it was a good one. The UCLA and USF. I think I had confused South Florida with UCF because apparently UCF was barely in the tournament. I thought that they had done it before and upset before, but I was wrong. So that was an oopsie on my part, and I didn't think UCLA was that good. I mean, they lost second round to UConn, so who knows. Then we have what other upset? Iowa coming big against Clemson. That was another one, and then upset Florida in the round of 32, which no one knew, no one thought that would happen. But we can blame this guy, real buff for nothing. McNeese again. I thought they were good. Apparently, they've never been the biggest, so that's another one of on my part. North Carolina losing to ECU. That was surprising. That game was not that close. Then St. Mary's losing. That was a big oopsie. I thought St. Mary's was better. And High Point going big. The big story of the tournament. If you don't know, every tournament, every year, there's always a school that's big. Last year was Oakland, I believe, and this year was High Point, but they didn't last long. They didn't last long, losing against Arkansas, which I had, but oh well. Then Gonzaga losing against Texas in the round of 32, that was surprising, and I just don't know what happened. I mean, we started slow. You can't win if you start slow. So yeah. Then Tennessee coming big, beating Miami, Ohio. I thought record was good, but you can't try to win games if you don't compete against good teams. So Tennessee made a big run, but stopped against Michigan. Obviously, they were really good, as I said. And then Illinois making it far, which was surprising, and I don't think a lot of people uh, thought that. Then, as I said, Final Four matchup from Arizona and Michigan. I knew that was gonna be a big one. It was until it wasn't. It was a good game, but the Wildcats fell behind fast. So, and then Michigan against UConn final game. That was a big game. A little bit. UConn almost came back. They came back against Illinois the previous game. Thought they had another one in them, but didn't. Although they did show class at the end of the game. We said Michigan. Obviously, I think before the tournament, I'm gonna put here their record, but they have only lost what I think 3 games before they came into the tournament. They did good the entire year. Them and Arizona were two of the big dogs, so it's not a surprise that they won. Then Duke almost lost at the beginning, but came back. It wasn't that much again. And then you against UConn, they just you can just beat Duke big. I mean, they came back. So also, can we see what's going on with the Big Ten already winning 3 championships this year? I mean, they won the national championship in football with Indiana. Then they won. Then UCLA won women's, and then obviously Michigan in the Big Ten won the men's basketball. Like, what the fuck, man? Like, you can tell the NIL money is making a difference. That's why they need to stop it and change it somehow. And then UCLA somehow they're good at baseball as well. Like, I don't know if that's how they planned it or just how they did it, but they somehow are good in baseball as well, which seems unfair for other teams, but Oregon State can make a difference, hopefully. At least in softball, the Big Ten is not there. I mean, their best team is Nebraska at number 5, so that's something good. But uh, okay, now for the good games. Can we just say how crazy it was for the game Santa Clara and Kentucky had? That was crazy. Finishing with, I believe, it was 2 buzzer beaters at the end, and both by Kentucky. Well, one by Santa Clara, but got uh, eliminated by the Kentucky one. Like, my God, it was. There you have it. It's 44 seconds. Santa Clara with the ball. They miss. Then Kentucky takes it out of the field. Then Santa Clara gets it back with 39 seconds, and then they had nothing else. They're winning by 2, and then they keep missing so that Kentucky gets the ball. And with only 15 seconds, they have nothing to do, so they're just going for it. They make a 2, then Santa Clara has the ball with 9 seconds left. They go all the way, they take some time off the clock, and then they hit a 3, leaving Kentucky with 2.4 seconds left by 3 points, and then they just chuck it half, pretty much in half court, just chuck it, and they make it so that they go to overtime. That's the first buzzer beater in regulation. Then they go to overtime, and no one can believe it. And then in overtime, same thing happened. It goes all the way down. 50 seconds left. Santa Clara has 79 points. Kentucky has 83. They call a timeout. They try to get it back, and then Kentucky wins it with 89 points to 84. Like, that was crazy. To just a context, I was not planning on watching this part of the game because I was working out and I had to pull it up and literally in the gym had to wait a second and watch the ending because it was crazy. And then because obviously is um, March Madness, the games are crazy at the end for some weird reason. So that makes it so the final 2 minutes is touching time. Not that way, but it's touching times so they make a lot of fouls. Then we have the Purdue versus Texas game that again was crazy with 2 points. Now with 12 seconds left in the clock, both Purdue and Texas are at 77 points in regulation. So Purdue has the ball, takes it all the way, takes its time, which they have to. Then they make a 2-pointer just like that, leaving Texas with 7 seconds left. And then they chuck it off the middle of the field, and they almost made it. Of course, they didn't. So, but that was another crazy game. I think most of the crazy games came towards the end, which, I mean, of course, but my God, they had us on our heels. Then the famous Nebraska versus Iowa game, where it's Nebraska versus Iowa, 68 to 76. Nebraska winning with 8.5 seconds left on the clock. And then the Iowa. Then Nebraska makes points, make it to 77, 71 towards the end. And that was crazy one. And that was not the crazy one. Crazy one was Iowa versus Florida, I think.
With the catch, Sturts, bounce pass to the corner. Fulgaris for three. Oh!
Yeah, Iowa versus Florida. 73 to 72, Iowa winning with 4 seconds left on the clock. All the Gators have to do is make it. They make even a 2-point and they win with 4 seconds left. They trail all back. They go to me say like, you're driving towards the ball. We're gonna put the clip here. You have it. You just have to put it on top, lay it up, but you have to pass it back. That's mistake. Even though that was basically some of the crazy games in March Madness this year. The tournament, as always, is crazy. Hence the madness. It's, I believe, the third, well, if you don't count soccer, the second best sport, or at least finals watched in the US. Obviously, first one football, but March Madness was crazy. It's always good to watch, and unfortunately, I didn't get a good bracket. Not even good, just bad. Um, but yeah, I put the bracket here for you guys to see uh, my bracket so that you can see that I did wrong, really wrong. But that was basically my bracket. Hopefully next year I'm gonna make mine and make another one, and hopefully that's better. Thanks for watching. Also, I am a big announcement for the channel. At 15 subscribers, I'm gonna start streaming, and we're gonna start streaming Nintendo games, especially Super Mario ones. So if you want to see it, click the subscribe button and like. Thank you all. Have a good one.